What's up, guys? We're back with another video. If you are new here, my name is Sammy and we're the Mermaid Gang. This is where you can come to suspend your disbelief. I am your favorite YouTuber, so subscribe. Okay, I want to talk about Everyone As You Pushed Out. There's so many different opinions on it and information, and you know what? Believe what you want about it. I really don't care, but I'm going to tell you what I know about it and what I have understood to be true. Because at the end of the day, when you are getting tons of information from when you're getting information from books or the internet or whatever, you are simply consuming information from other people's experience. So therefore, let me tell you what I understand in my experience. I've heard things like, people outside of you are not real. Everyone's an illusion, right? We've all heard that when someone's talked about Everyone As You Pushed Out. I'm sure it's something we've all heard before because I've even been asked about it. People are real, guys. Everyone existing with you on this planet, they are real people. They are not illusions. They're real people, and they are selecting their own experiences the same way you are. Where Everyone As You Pushed Out comes in is that the version of them you experience is you pushed out. So it's by your selection, being how you think of them, whether it be you have specific assumptions about specific people that you know personally, or whether it be that you have general assumptions, and that's how other types of people show up in your life. So if you have a general assumption that there are somewhere in the world rude people, then there's a chance you're going to encounter rude people at some point, or haters, or if you believe that some people are trolls online, then sometimes you may get rude comments, or you just might encounter someone who's just rude the same way you encounter nice people. If you have a general assumption that there are some people who are very negative and they just think that everyone's terrible. So let's say there's a girl who's been cheated on and she believes that all men are cheaters, they're all bad. Well, she's going to create that experience with men because she has that assumption about most men or all men. It doesn't mean that those men aren't real, but it also doesn't mean that those men are actually like that with other people. But in her experience, based on her assumptions and people being her pushed out, in her reality, the men pushed out are going to be whatever she assumes or expects from them. When it's said that basically you're solely responsible for everyone else's experiences, that's just not true. People create their own experiences based on their own beliefs and assumptions the same way you do. Can you help them out and manifest for other people? Yes. But you didn't create their life, if that makes sense. So, if you know someone and they have a hard life, or they have money problems all the time and they have a bad money mindset, you didn't necessarily create that. Or if you are in or have been in an abusive relationship or something, you shouldn't be blaming yourself and believing that you manifested this abuse or you created this person to be abusive. You could have simply had an assumption that there are abusive relationships in the world, or there are people who are abusive in the world, and that it was a possibility. You know what I mean? We grow up with tons of assumptions that we have gotten from the news, TV, our parents, our family, our friends. We get assumptions from everywhere. There's so much information coming into our minds from everywhere. So for you to even try to dissect why you would end up in an abusive relationship or something like that, or even blame yourself, is unnecessary. The thing that is important to focus on when it comes to Everyone As You Pushed Out in any type of scenario is that, okay, it doesn't really matter how this came into my life. All I know is I don't like it, I'm going to change it. So if there's a person in your life who's rude to you or you just have unpleasant experiences with, you can either, one, just kick them out of your reality, basically, and not have anything to do with them. Or you could just start thinking of them and describing them differently, which is how people change SPs or manifest SPs, because it's the same thing as you thinking like someone doesn't like you and then changing your assumption to them liking you, and then that's the version of them that you select. It's like that for everything. But the problem with everyone is you pushed out is the information being pushed on people that, like I said, that you manifested your abuse, that you, or that everybody isn't real, or that you're responsible for other people's realities. That's not true. First of all, that's so much of a burden to put on other people. That's insane. You are solely responsible for your experience, period. Like I said, can you manifest for other people? Yes. So even with Neville, and the bad thing is a lot of this information does come from Neville, but if you think of all of Neville's stories, Neville helped other people manifest for themselves, right? He also had a friend who would manifest for people, like with the telephone method and stuff. So I didn't ever hear them blaming themselves for other people having bad experiences in their lives. They just simply told them how to change it or imagined them differently. I think even Neville imagined people differently. You can do that, but it's not your fault that they have the problem in the first place. You're not creating their reality, but you can step in for them if you feel the need to. Does that make sense? Like, you didn't make their life bad. You didn't make them lose their job. You didn't make them have money problems. You didn't make their relationship bad, but you can step in and imagine for them or affirm for them and help them be better, feel better, get better, do better. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can manifest for other people, but you are not solely responsible for everyone in the world. You also should not be blaming yourself if you've ended up in situations with really bad people, or you've been abused, or you've encountered horrible people or been treated badly. You shouldn't be blaming yourself for that. There's no need to even try to dissect where it came from, because most of the things that we encounter come from our general beliefs and experiences. I'm sure 99% of the people in this world believe that there are bad people in the world. So, if you've experienced a bad person, that's probably all it came from. It's not to say that you sat around thinking that you were going to encounter a bad person. It's just that you believe that that was a possibility somewhere at some point. Now, you can change your assumptions about stuff like that and assume that you only encounter the best people, you only attract the best men or the best women or the best whoever, you only attract healthy relationships, or you only have the best coworkers, you only have the most loyal friends. You can do that. You can change anything that you don't like, but the problem that I have is the blaming and the saying that everybody's not real and making people think they're living in some type of hologram with illusions around them, and that it almost is like implying that you're living a dream, almost like you're alone. That's not a good feeling, to be telling people that they're alone and everybody in their world is an illusion. That's not true. We are all real. You're real, I'm real, everybody in the world is real. The people you see on social media, they're real. We're all real people, but we're all creating our own experiences. Look around at people, scroll social media for a minute and see the correlation between the stranger. Now, it can be a stranger too. A stranger on the internet. Pick a stranger on the internet that you see that maybe posts TikToks or posts Instagram content or YouTube videos, and look at the correlation between how they speak about things, their attitude towards things, and then their life experiences. Because I'm sure you can find a YouTuber that is very negative, complains a lot, and always has a terrible story to tell, right? And then you can find the ones who are just happy, positive, living their best lives, and always have something fun to post about, or always have something good to say. You can look at other people outside of you and see that they create their own experiences just like you do. You are not creating that person's negativity or that person's positivity. The only reason you come across them or encounter them is because you believe that those types of people exist somewhere in the world. It can be that small of a reason. So there's no reason to be dissecting. There's no reason to be thinking that everybody's fake. There's no reason to be self-blaming for your experiences. The only thing to do is understand that, okay, I don't like this. I don't want to experience this again. So I'm going to make an assumption where this is not something that I experience. And that's it. That's all you have to do. I don't like the information about people being fake and us being responsible for everybody in the world. Like, I can't stand the blaming of when someone encounters someone negative or rude or horrible or even negative things in the world. Okay, wait. Let me speak on something else real quick. So when it comes to, there's this thing called egregores, okay? An egregore is a thought form that manifests as an individual entity, basically. It becomes independent on its own, but it starts as a thought form from a group of people believing in this one thing. So, situations in the world, like when something goes viral on TikTok, do you notice how it becomes a bigger and bigger and bigger situation? And sometimes those situations like escalate. Is because you have so many people talking about, believing in, and most of all, fearing the same thing, getting emotionally involved and upset about the same thing, expressing strong thought and emotion towards the same thing. That is an egregore. So you are not responsible solely for a war, for a pandemic, terrible, just bad things happening in the world. You alone did not manifest that. Egregores are created by by large amounts of people all focusing on and obsessing over the same thing. These egregores live on this energy. Like, they can't exist without it. So the more a bunch of people are obsessing over the same thing, the more solid and real it becomes, and then it just gets more and more and more people involved. So don't be blaming yourselves for things that happen in the world, bad things that happen in the world, like wars, or you know the things that are going on. Don't be blaming yourselves for that. You, the one person sitting on the other side of this camera, are not solely responsible for these things. You did not create it on your own. Now, when it comes to egregores, things like that, negative things that everybody's obsessing over, the actual best thing you can do is to opt out of the belief. Don't join in. Don't watch content on it. Don't think about it. Don't obsess over it. Don't let it upset you. Don't engage. That's the best thing you can do for those types of situations. And if more people would stop engaging, I have a theory on this. I think that social media, mainly one platform specifically, has been used heavily to create these situations because they know if it goes viral, enough people focusing on it, it will become true and huge. So the best thing you can do is to not engage. Don't watch that content. Don't focus on it. Ignore it. Take your energy away from it. You don't want to get caught up in that stuff. And that's why certain people experience effects from these things and some people don't. It's because some people are choosing to be like, whatever, not in my reality. And then there are other people that are like going hard, focusing on it, getting upset with it, and obsessing over it. So, yeah. I just wanted to touch on those topics. Those are just things that I know there's 150 things I could tell you about how to manifest and these methods. And I am going to film about methods again. But this is something I felt was more important to talk about because I don't see a lot of people talking about it. About, not about the egregore thing. That's just like a little side note that I wanted to throw in. But about everyone is you pushed out. I just have seen people say they were concerned because they thought people weren't real and stuff. And that's just not true. So I hope this made you feel better if you were someone who was concerned about that. Or if you were concerned about, you know, maybe things that you've experienced or people you've experienced. Don't beat yourself up about that stuff. Just understand that it doesn't matter how it manifested because it could have been something as simple as just a general assumption. But just know that, okay, I don't like this, so I'm going to create an assumption where I don't experience this again. And it's just that simple. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And we out.